Let's go racing! Ancient Greek style. Hi, I'm Yura the Time Traveler and this is my lifestyle time travel blog. And this video is for all the history, archaeology, sport and Formula 1 lovers. Today we have a crossover. We are talking about the history of chariot racing. I think that all of the F1 and other motorsports lovers would have been chariot racing fans if they lived during antiquity, especially in ancient Greece, Rome and during the Byzantine period. And if you think that there are no similarities between ancient chariot racing and F1, you would be wrong. So wrong. So let's see how chariot races looked like in ancient Greece. It's lights out and away we go. Even though it is probable that some form of chariot racing existed during the Mycenaean period, which is Greek Bronze Age, and Homer depicts chariot race as a part of the funeral games for Patroclus in the Iliad, the first real races were held at the Olympic Games. Accounts vary, but the consensus is that four-horse chariot races, or thripon, were introduced to the games held in 680 BC. Two-horse chariot races, or synoris, were introduced in 408 BC, so we can view these disciplines as Formula 1 and Formula 2, let's say. Chariot races were also part of Nemean and Isthmian games. These races were held at hippodromes or oval racing tracks, so picture NASCAR but with horses. The Olympic hippodrome of the 2nd century AD was approximately 780 meters long and 320 meters wide. The number of laps varied from event to event. Spectators could watch from the natural embankments to the north and artificial embankments to the south and east. The western side of the north bank was for the stewards. And if you think that Drivers' Parade and cringy Miami Grand Prix LL Cool J introduction are just some part of the modern spectacle, you're wrong. Ancient Greek chariot races began with a procession into the hippodrome, while a herald, so Greek LL Cool J, announced the names of drivers and owners. Four-horse chariot races consisted of 12 laps, where of course the start was the trickiest part, because crashes. You can just imagine the mess that happened at the start. Today you just have to avoid other cars, but back then every driver had 4 horses to manage, so crashes were frequent. And even though those horses were well trained, they had minds of their own, so they can be spooked or they can just choose to not cooperate. Computer says no, horses says no, which is equivalent to engine failure. And it was just as dangerous as the races are today. Probably even more so. Narrow track, 2 hairpin turns and horses with minds of their own. Judges and stewards were there to make sure that there were no false starts. And to ensure a fair start, portable starting gates, or hispeglas, were introduced with a tight cord in a wooden frame. The dropping of the cord started the race. The central pair of horses did most of the heavy pulling and the flanking pair pulled and guided. The chariots looked like war chariots, so wooden 2-wheeled carts with an open back. The charioteers stood throughout the race, resting on the axle, so the ride was bumpy.
Thank you. Time to go purposing.
They wore long-sleeved, ankle-length garment fastened in the waist and chest area because of the aerodynamics. The turns at the ends of the hippodrome were the most exciting part of the track, so those were the best seats. A lot of crashes happened there, and some of them were even fatal. Crashing into an opponent on purpose was forbidden, but most of the crashes were racing incidents.
Nothing, just an incident on the race.
Chariot racing was expensive and dangerous, so the owner of the chariot and the driver were usually not the same person. Drivers were usually slaves or paid professionals. They needed strength, skill, courage, endurance and intensive training. Charioteers were ideally slight of build, often young and tall. But in ancient Greek context, I'm not even sure what that means because they were not that tall at all. However, the winner of the race was not the driver but the owner, so there was only the constructors' championship. The winners were immortalized in victory songs on epitaphs and other monuments. It was different in Rome, so if you want a video about Roman racing, write down in the comments. They took chariot racing to another level. Sometimes the owners were the drivers as well, like Enzo Ferrari. We have some accounts of Herodotus and Philip II driving their own chariots. Women could also be winners, but as owners, although married women were not allowed to either watch or participate in the Olympic Games. We do know that Cyniska, the daughter of Archidamus II, king of Sparta, won the Olympic Games twice as an owner and trainer and once as the driver. Shout out to Cyniska. Thank you for watching this video, and you know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, send to all, and write down in the comments if you would like to see similar content. I really enjoyed mixing my two passions, history and Formula 1. So my best friend told me that this is even bigger niche than we were before, but I'm hoping that we would expand with this video so that some Formula 1 or motorsports lovers would be interested in seeing the origins of their favorite sport. So, bye!